Diane Schaefering. Diane and I became good friends when we were amongst the first group of volunteer coaches of the Gateway Locomotives brought together by Tony Sansone back in 1994. 1994, I know, holy cow. I had a mullet, I think, I don't know. I don't know. Somebody had a mullet, I'm sure. Anyway, for over 20 years, I've always thought of Diane as a coach. In fact, when her nomination was being discussed and studied, we talked about her stellar coaching career. I mean, that has seen students of all ages and abilities, ranging from the Gateway Locomotives to youth programs, college programs, camps at every level. You'll find former students of hers in the NHL, as well as other professional leagues and high-level junior programs, college. However, we honor her tonight as a builder of the game. She's mixed her skills as a coach with her commitment to make things happen, to grow the game, and provide opportunities for more kids to play, for all kids to play. She is one of the founding members of the Chesterfield Falcon Hockey Association that needs to get some sheets. She started the Learn to Play hockey program at the USI Sports Complex. She continues to work with kids through the Learn to Play hockey program with St. Peter's Spirits organization. She carries a U.S. Hockey Level 4 certification and continues to be a USA hockey presenter instructor. My good friend and well-deserving inductee, Diane Schaefering.
Oh, wow, this has been a little nerve-wracking. I'm glad I'm going first so I can get it over with. I would like to thank the Hall and everyone who nominated me for this incredible honor. And I would like to congratulate all my fellow inductees. We all are here on a common theme, but every one of us got here a little bit differently. I was a figure skater. And as a figure skater, I really didn't have a lot of interaction with hockey players. When I was skating in Phoenix, Arizona at the age of 15, I remember one day getting off the ice and in walk these guys, these huge men, completely dressed out, carrying their skates, and it was the Phoenix Roadrunners. Their practice facility wasn't available that day, so they came to our rink and there was not a locker room for them. So they sat down with us and were putting their skates on. And one of the guys, after he finishes putting his skates on, looks at me, smiles, takes his teeth out, and puts them in his shoes. And I couldn't get out of there fast enough. I mean, it really took me a long time to realize that grown men are just little boys that still like to have fun. And over the years, I've learned a lot from different hockey players. Bernie Federko taught me that offsides is football and offside is hockey. And Brian Burke made sure that I understood that Saskatchewan needed to be pronounced properly. And long before American Pie, Craig Heggs taught me what a MILF was. If any of you know Craig Heggs. So, I wouldn't be here today. I could go on about Craig Heggs, but this isn't the place. I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for a lot of people that helped me out and did a lot for me. Hall of Famer, the late Lou Struckman, had me working at his summer hockey schools, and I was still teaching in figure skates. So one day he took me to Johnny Mac's, bought me a pair of hockey skates, the beginning of it all. I got on the ice that night with over 40 high school players, and I can't thank him enough for that. And I'm really thankful I didn't fall flat on my face that night. I want to thank Blake Dunlop for giving me the opportunity to work his summer hockey schools. It was a huge step for me, and I can't thank him enough for the confidence that he instilled in me. There really aren't that many pages, the font's huge. I want to thank Brian Burke who saw the passion that I had for teaching and encouraged me to channel that into working with hockey players. He became a friend and a mentor who brought me into work at the Hartford Whalers Summer Hockey School, where I met an 18-year-old rookie named Chris Pronger. And Chris and I spent quite a few years after that working together. He also introduced me to Bob O'Connor and set it up so that I could go work with Bob at his hockey schools in Minnesota. And I stayed with he and his wife Alice. He had an entire basement full of hockey tapes that I spent an entire week watching tapes and talking hockey, and it was probably one of the most incredible weeks I've ever spent. And OC, I really wish I had the opportunity to tell you thank you again. He passed away this past, I guess it's been about a year and a half. I would like to thank my friend and Hall of Famer Keith Blaze for helping me set up 2 young players fresh from the U.S. Olympic team for my first hockey camp. It was Brett Hedekin and Joe Sacco. Keith and his wife, Mary, opened up their home to me when I worked the Phoenix Coyotes summer hockey schools and the Christmas camps. And most of you don't know that Keith and I actually opened up the Brentwood ice rink together, and I have pictures of him skating in tights. Yeah. I would like to thank the St. Louis Blues alumni. You are such an incredible group of men, and you always accepted me. You encouraged me, you gave me advice, and most of all, you became my friends. I've had the pleasure to work with many of you over the years, and Doug Wickenheiser, Mark Reeds, Todd Ewan, and Rick Wilson. You're truly missed by all of us. And then there's Joe Balderota, and I know some of these people are not familiar to you, but they are people that had an impact on my life, so I really need to make sure that I include them. Joe and I met when we were both doing a coach's clinic. His team at Stevens Point was the first collegiate team that I worked with, and then I taught at his summer hockey schools for many years. I was also able to work with future NHLers Joe Pavelski and Jack Skilly, and I want to thank Joe for that opportunity and for being a wonderful friend. I still remember sitting in the stands at the Creve Coeur Ice Arena when Mike Cullen, Hall of Famer Mike Cullen, asked me if I would like to join the board of the future Chesterfield Hockey Association. I didn't have to think twice. It was a lot of work, it was a lot of fun, and I wouldn't change a minute of it. Thank you, Mike, for allowing me to be a part of helping give thousands of kids a place to play. I want to thank Hall of Famer Jim Herman and the St. Louis Blues Special Hockey. The time I spent coaching these amazing kids taught me so much about courage, toughness, and heart. And I knew this was going to be the hardest part to get through, so I left it for the end. I want to thank my husband, John, for always supporting me, encouraging me, trusting me, being my sounding board, and being my rock. Every day you inspire me to be the best I can. You're the love of my life. As we celebrate our 40th anniversary in October, I'm looking forward to whatever God has in store for us as long as we're together. I want to thank my 3 sons, Blake, Drew, and Tyler, their wives, Yvonne and Jennifer, and my granddaughter, Lumen. When I first started working with hockey players, the boys thought I had the coolest job around. I want to thank you for your patience when we were at the rink for hours with board meetings, practices, camps, my giving lessons. Thank you for being an example of always working hard and paying attention when you skated my schools. And I can say some of my proudest moments were when all of us were doing camps together, and I got an opportunity to see how amazing you were working with the kids. I'm so proud of you. I love you. Much big. I want to thank my mom and dad, Jackie and Adrian Stahl. You allowed me to move away at 14 to chase my dream. Even when it meant that we only saw each other once or twice a year and you both had to work 2 jobs so I could skate. When I started working with hockey players, I remember my mom saying, "We spent all this time and all this money on figure skating, and now you carry a stick." They're no longer with me, but they would be very proud of this honor. I want to thank my brother Craig Stahl for all the time he had to spend in ice rinks all over the country while I practiced and competed. And thank goodness vending machines and payphones kept you busy. But I do miss the time we would have had together growing up. To finish up, the people we surround ourselves with either raise or lower our standards. They either help us to become the best version of ourselves or encourage us to become lesser versions of ourselves. No man becomes great on his own. No woman becomes great on her own. The people around them help to make them great. We all need people in our lives who raise our standards, remind us of our essential purpose, and challenge us to become the best version of ourselves. To everyone I mentioned and to the many, many I didn't, thank you very much.